I wanted to take a rather provocative stance, and those who know me probably didn't surprise me, because I wanted to look at why online can be better than face-to-face, not just making the little contacts and little edges of these things at the fringe of education. What we've seen from the analytics of various virtual learning environments and so on is that many of our students actually come on at 1 o'clock in the morning. So the onlineness actually gives you this flexibility of time that is independent of actually going into a classroom at 9 o'clock in the morning or an early start. It makes you able to do it on the hoof, on the move, in the car, as Tom was saying, even at one point in the toilet. Going through these things, there's a whole raft of resources that you can draw upon. There's a whole library on demand. This is the library, or part of the library that's behind me, but I've discovered more recent years that I don't even have to leave my office to get access to the university library. It's there at the touch of a button. I can get the PDF, I can print it out on my machine. I don't even need to walk across the car park. Now with the COVID thing, I've realized that I can do it even from here, from home. I don't have to go into the campus at all. So that mix of things, you're there for the social interaction, sure, and the breaks and the coffee table discussions, or the chat over the photocopier. Yep, absolutely. But in terms of getting access to resources, it's all there. There's a whole new raft of things coming on there in terms of multimodal learning with your podcasts and access to text, access to video conferences. We have in the UHI, we have about 4 or 5 or 6 different ways, different software applications that we can use to video conference, depending on bandwidth, functionality, use, subject matter, and so on and so forth. This stuff here, for example, allows you to embed the speaker within the PowerPoint and gives you access to live video comment within the video comment. It gives access to documentation. You can click on these things and get the PDF link. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do in terms of making resources available to a wider range of students and different ways of thinking. In terms of this COVID thing now, we're using this as a matter of course. People that were, what I call them, the refuseniks, the people who were insisting on that their course has to be done face-to-face. No, it doesn't. You can actually create this thing and have individual tutorials. You can have group tutorials. We've been doing this for a long time, but actually it's now beginning to come of age. I mean, I was thinking that as earlier speakers were talking there, the first online course that I actually taught was about 1993. And we thought we were really cool and really ahead of the curve then. Looking back in the now, it was so rough and ready, so seat of the pants stuff. This is much more, where are we going to be in the future? We're now looking at avoiding travel costs, the inconvenience of actually turning up on campus, doing a whole range of things, the fluid geographical boundaries we've seen earlier on presentations, where people are based in different countries, different time zones, different access to materials, different languages. We can record all this, we can look at this back, play it again, we can can it, cut and paste it, edit it, chop and change it, add other languages, other text, subtitles. It's got a different cost structure, not necessarily cheaper, but not necessarily more expensive. I get to be convinced of the argument that it's more costly than actually face-to-face, because if you look at all these edifices, these buildings we've put up across the country, some of them costing millions and millions of pounds, and right now, they're sitting empty because we can't go into them, we can't use them. It also enables contingency planning, not just for things like COVID, but also for things like people being ill in car crashes, or people being off ill, people being off maternity leave, whole breakdown and so on and so forth. There's a whole range of stuff there. And most important for me, it facilitates pedagogy, self-determined learning. And now I think the genie is out of the bottle. I think once we get beyond this COVID, because we will eventually get beyond to some form of new normality. And once we get there, the genie is out of the bottle. It will not go back in again. There will be people who drift back onto using things lazily and face-to-face, but not necessarily in the way they had done before. It's going to be a new way of thinking about these things. It's going to be a new way of approaching that. And I think that we all use these new technologies, these different technologies for actually putting things together. The idea of being able to pick up this and use this on other sides is going to be something that's actually we're looking at as a whole new way of different access. Sorry, my timer's going off in the background. I can't work my own technology.
I didn't get a chance to count, Stan. You saved the day just in time, Frank. So well done. And as I said, no, it was good. And I would like to think that, you know, the genie is well and truly out of the bottle. And I would like to think that, you know, e-learning will not just be seen as some sort of adjunct to what we do, that it's just part of education and all of the other things that we have done.